Hello friends, as usual it's Bill and you're watching Bill's Box of Sound, and today I'm going to be reviewing this, the Frank Zappa Zappa 88, The Last US Show, which is available as a 4 LP boxed set, or if you prefer, it's available as a 2 CD set. Now, mine arrived in a jewel box. Some people have theirs that arrived in a paper pack. It depends on where you buy it, how you buy it, whatever. But this is a live recording from Frank Zappa's last tour, the 1988 show that was recorded on March 25th, 1988 at the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. And I'm very happy that this came out. Now, there's 2 versions of the vinyl available. You can get it with black vinyl, or you can get it in this lovely purple vinyl version. And the labels fill in the 1980s pastiche and gives you a very nice color scheme there. So very happy that that's out. Now, before I talk about what's in this set, I want to talk about what's not on this set. There's a couple of things that happened on stage that were not included in this set. One of them is a, where is it? One of them is a monologue. Now, those of you who are familiar with the recordings that have already come out of the 1988 shows, for example, The Best Band You Never Heard in Your Life, there's a track on the second disc called A Few Moments with Brother A. West. He did another one of his little monologues or faux sermons at this show, and let's just say it really didn't flow with the continuity of the concert all that much. Also, Brother A. West, who also did the artwork for the Broadway the Hard Way album, and also did a lot of the graphics for Frank's autobiography, The Real Frank Zappa book, also went on to become an award-winning children's television artist, and in 2006 he was arrested and imprisoned for sexually molesting a 6-year-old girl, as well as possessing and producing child pornography. So I don't really think we want to promote that sort of behavior, do we? I don't think so. Also, if you're into the 88 tour and you're into Zappa books, get this, Zappa the Hard Way, written by Andrew Greenaway. He's such a good writer that he actually quoted one of my interviews with Zappa in this book. So you can probably get this on Amazon still, but this book is a page turner. Really enjoyed this. Now, what else is not on here? Well, in the encore, there's a couple of tunes, namely Stairway to Heaven and Whippin' Post. Now, at this concert in Uniondale, New York, Frank brought Dweezil Zappa on stage to play the guitar solos with him on those 2 songs. Now, at the request of Dweezil Zappa, those 2 songs have been removed. I'm guessing that Dweezil did not like his performances on those. It's also true that Frank has not been shy about featuring Dweezil on his recordings in the past anyway. So, for one reason or another, and at his request, Dweezil's performances were removed and replaced with a couple of other shows. One is from Maryland on March 23rd. That was for Stairway to Heaven. And Whippin' Post was from the Providence, Rhode Island Civic Center performance on March 16th, 1988. Now, I know a lot of you are going to read whatever you want to into this concerning the notorious Zappa feud between Ahmet and Dweezil. Listen, they buried the hatchet. Things are good between them. I'm not going to read into this anything that's not said because it's not official. Okay? All I can say is I'm really happy that we got some more Zappa music to listen to that was really properly put together. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about what is on this set. The closest that this album gets to having any filler is the first 7 minutes, which is when Frank comes out on stage and talks about their push for voter registration, which is called "We Are Doing Voter Registration Here." He also has some representatives from the governor's office reading some things and talking on there. But once that's done, they get down to some music. They go into the Black Page New Age version, which was also done on, I believe, yes it was, the Make a Jazz Noise Here album. Which, wouldn't it be nice to have this on vinyl? Huh? Okay, I've said enough. I'm not going to preach. Okay. Of course, there's great solos. I kind of like the version of the Black Page New Age version on this better than I do on this particular package, but it's still essential. On side 2, you got Inca Rhodes and Charlena, more great Zappa solos, and the first 3 sides of this make up the first set of the show. At the end of the set, at the end of sofa number 1, Frank says, you know, we're going to take an intermission, go out there, register the vote, stops the band, and at every single concert, he triggered the synclavier on stage to play one of the synclavier compositions from the Frank Zappa Meet Some Others of Prevention album, and that's One Man, One Vote. Well, it really wasn't heard that much, and even on the unofficial bootleg recordings that circulated around between fans, you didn't hear that stuff. But on here, you hear it, and it's a slightly different mix, and it's so cool, and I love it. I'm very happy that that was included on the set. So, then sides 4, 5, and 6 are the second set of the show, starting with the band singing Happy Birthday to Chad Wackerman, and then going into Packard Goose, which has never been released legitimately before. Now, the way that Packard Goose was performed in this tour was they did the front part of the song, and instead of the guitar solo, you've got the Stravinsky Royal March from L'Histoire du Soldat, and the theme from the Bartók Piano Concerto No. 3. And then they go back into the tail end of Packard Goose. So that's really neat, getting to hear it the way it was performed originally, instead of being sandwiched at the end of, what was it? City of Tiny Lights, I think? Da-da-da-da. Yeah, on Make a Jazz Noise Here, it was sandwiched in between City of Tiny Lights and Sinister Footwear, second movement. So then, after Packard Goose, we go into The Torture Never Stops, which on the 1988 tour was an amazing thing, which was split into 2 parts, which incorporated the theme from Bonanza and Lonesome Cowboy Burt. And this is as musically amazing as it is hilarious. So then on side 5, they go back into The Torture Never Stops, and then you hear Frank's solo, a really good solo, and then they do City of Tiny Lights, which is the best solo from Frank on the album. Then they go into Pound for a Brown, which has solos from other members of the band, including Bobby Martin and Mike Keneally. You get to hear him do a solo on the stage with Frank. So that was really exciting. And then you get to hear the Beatles medley. So this is something we never thought us Zappa fans would see in a legitimate place. The 1988 band doing fantastic renditions of Norwegian Wood, Strawberry Fields Forever, and Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, only with completely rewritten lyrics by Zappa about Jimmy Swaggart and his legal problems that he was having at the time, being caught with a prostitute in a Louisiana hotel or a Texas motel or whatever. It's hilarious and fantastic, and I'm so glad that Paul McCartney and Yoko Ono gave the permission to have this released. It's here, and it's in all of its splendor. Now, that finishes out the set with Peaches and Regalia. And then the last record is the encore. Stairway to Heaven, fantastic solo by Frank, as well as the Jimmy Page solo being replicated by the horn section. I Am the Walrus, Whip and Post, Bolero, and America the Beautiful. Now, America the Beautiful, where at the end he says, hey, we'll see you in the fall, because he thought the tour was going to go on after the European leg. This is the third time that this track has been legitimately been released. The first time was on a download only. For a few years, the Zappa Trust released the Frank Zappa birthday bundle on December 21st, and they released a mix of America the Beautiful from that. And then on a CD called Frank Zappa for President, it was released on that as well. And this is the third time that America the Beautiful has been released on an official Frank Zappa piece of information. But it's a short song, and that is what it is. A great show. Now, I'm happy that I've got a whole 1988 show available on vinyl in my hands, lovingly mixed and sounding really good. Now, I know a lot of you Zappa fans are going to say, yeah, but you know, they should really release a box set of all of the shows on the American leg or the European leg of the 88 tour, and that'd be a great set. Well, it'd take an awful lot of work to do that. Because, you know, people use as an example the Grateful Dead and all of the live sets that are released from them. A lot of their stuff was already mixed to 2-track, the soundboard tapes. This stuff is 16, or in this case, 48-track digital recordings that were very properly mixed, tweezed, all naughty bits taken out so that you hear music, and more music. This sounds like the way that Frank would put it out if he were still around. And I also know that the Vaultmeister, Mr. Joe Travers, I know you're watching, is not a big fan of something that happened at a lot of the 1988 shows, and that was the secret word. You don't know what the secret word is? Well, let's see. Go to the best band you never heard in your life and listen to Ring of Fire. It talks about the secret word. And they do the song Ring of Fire, and for the rest of that night, they tried to work Ring of Fire into the lyrics of all the songs just to crack each other up and have a good time. There were other secret words throughout the tour. My favorite, because I've heard a lot of tapes that have been circulated between fans, is the Oslo, Norway show, where the secret word was sausage. That was a lot of fun, but I know that Joe Travers, who is in charge of putting together the posthumous Zappa releases, is not a fan of the secret word and the way that it was worked into the show. Personally, I don't mind. It's a lot of fun, but still, releasing that many shows, I mean, I'd be happy if in the future a couple of shows were put together, or they made a very select representation of other songs that still have not been released by the 88 band, because this band knew over 100 songs going into the tour, and as the tour progressed, they learned more at each sound check. It was truly amazing, and truly, yeah, the best band that you never heard in your life if you never got to see them live. I fortunately got to see the Cleveland, Ohio show back in 1988. So, how does it sound? Well, this is a digital recording, a 48-track digital recording. And back when this first came out, well, better yet, back when this was first recorded, the state of the art of digital recording was not as good as it is today. Remember, that was 1988, and that was a million fucking years ago. You find a vinyl copy of Broadway the Hard Way, and you listen to it, it's got a harsh quality. Some people have described it as crunchy. And then you listen to this recording, and oh my God, it's so much better because they have lovingly taken the 48-track digital recordings and excised all of the files off of the tapes, put them into a digital audio workstation, and properly mixed them with today's technology and better digital to analog converters. So you say, well, if it's digital, why don't I just buy the CD? That'll sound better than anything else. Don't have to buy the album. I mean, this is close to $100. This you can get, what, for 20, 30 bucks? Well, the news is the vinyl does sound better than the CD. I synced them up and I did some level matching and I went back and forth. The vinyl version of the 88 show has a lot more punch, has more dynamics. It just sounds overall better. It doesn't have that crunchy sound, doesn't have that digital sound that just makes it feel weak. It's really good. But if you are a person who prefers CD, this version is good as well. So that's what's in it, that's what's on it, and that's Frank Zappa, the last U.S. show. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for subscribing. I'm up to 4,000 subscribers now. Thank you so much. Keep on watching. There's more Zappa content and more of a lot of other things coming as well. Had a great time. Hope you did too. Now go listen to some music. You know you want to.